You know, um, Usually when we talk about a piece of technology being engineered for like maximum viral impact, we're picturing lines of code, right?
Yeah.
Silicon chips, glowing server racks, that sort of thing.
Right, exactly.
But what if I told you that one of the most sophisticated pieces of viral engineering we're going to look at today is actually, well, just a simple, unassumingly elegant square of fabric? We are so thrilled you're here with us today for this deep dive, sitting right here in the room with us as we tear into something genuinely surprising.
Yeah, it really is.
We have this document on the table titled The Art of the Silk Scarf. But this isn't some glossy, throwaway fashion magazine article.
No, not at all. It's a hybrid document from the year 2026,
Yeah.
created internally for a brand called Apparelizer. And it accidentally just, well, it leaves the back door wide open.
Yeah, wide open. We aren't just looking at a styling guide here. We're looking at the behind-the-scenes SEO metadata, the YouTube descriptions, the hidden hashtags, and like the exact marketing machinery they use to push a physical item into the cultural stratosphere.
It's incredibly rare to see the curtain pulled back like this on the fashion industry.
Yeah.
I mean, we're essentially looking at the front of house aesthetic and the back of house algorithmic machinery simultaneously.
Totally. So the mission for our deep dive today is to completely deconstruct this document. We want to understand the practical, physical mechanics of the silk scarf, like how you actually manipulate it. And we want to understand the digital marketing forces driving its massive resurgence in modern social media culture. So, okay, let's unpack this
Let's do it.
because my mind is a little blown that a piece of silk is being treated with the same um, strategic intensity as a Silicon Valley product launch.
Yeah, but that intensity is deliberately calculated.
Yeah.
The Apparelizer document, it frames the silk scarf as a timeless fashion essential, but it bases that claim on a very specific philosophy of like high utility.
Right.
The core argument really rests on four pillars. It elevates simple outfits, functions year-round regardless of the season, offers endless physical styling possibilities, and serves as a champion of minimalist fashion.
When I was looking over those pillars, a very specific analogy came to mind. Think about a silk scarf as like a cheat code for your wardrobe or a Swiss Army knife.
Oh, I like that. A cheat code.
Yeah. Because you have your core programming, right?
Yeah.
Your basic jeans, your plain white t-shirt. Usually, to change the output of that outfit, you have to swap out the hardware, you have to buy a completely new jacket or entirely new pants.
Which is expensive.
Exactly. But the scarf is this single tiny add-on that you just plug into the system. And it drastically alters the entire aesthetic output of the outfit without needing any excessive bulky accessories.
And if we look at the deeper context of minimalist fashion running through this 2026 document, minimalism isn't just about the sheer deprivation of owning fewer things.
Right, it's not just throwing everything away.
Exactly. It's about owning things that possess maximum efficiency.
Yeah.
The strategy really positions the scarf as a mechanism to completely transform basic outfits instead of layering on, 3 necklaces, a heavy leather belt, and a statement jacket.
Which gets so heavy and cluttered.
Right. Instead of all that, you're deploying one single piece of premium material to do the heavy lifting of your outfit's visual composition.
I really want you, listening right now, to think about your own daily wardrobe. Think about that one trusty top you wear constantly. How often do you stare at it in the mirror and feel this sudden nagging urge to go online and buy more clothes simply because your brain is bored of the visual repetition?
Oh, all the time. Everyone does that.
Right. What a Apparelizer has tapped into is the psychological reality that a simple textural addition like a pop of geometric silk near the face, it changes the entire geometry of the look, completely bypassing the need for a trip to the mall.
And they don't just make these grand theoretical claims either. They provide the precise physical architecture for how to execute this. The mechanics start with the body's natural focal points, specifically creating a visual anchor at the neck.
Yeah, the document breaks down the physics of the classic necktie, which is arguably the most iconic application. You fold the scarf into a triangle or a long strip, wrap it around your neck, and tie a loose knot at the front or the side.
It's very straightforward.
It is, and the specific outfit pairings they recommend are fascinating too. They suggest pairing this tie with structured white blazers for formal office wear, or contrasting it completely against casual denim and simple shirts to achieve a Parisian-inspired aesthetic.
Which is basically the holy grail of fashion, right?
Totally. Looking like you didn't try at all while looking incredibly chic.
Structurally, it's a very smart styling choice because of how it directs human attention.
Yeah.
A piece of contrasting silk tied loosely at the collarbone creates a visual anchor. It naturally draws the viewer's eye upward, directly to the face.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and notice the emphasis on the words loose and gentle in the instructions. This isn't like a thick winter scarf meant to trap all your body heat and protect against a blizzard.
Hmm.
It's an architectural accent.
Right, right. So from the collarbone, the styling transitions up to the head, detailing a technique for folding the silk into a wide band and placing it right across the forehead or the crown. But wait, a head wrap.
Yeah, the head wrap.
I mean, unless I'm sitting on a yacht in the Mediterranean in 1955, I'm not wearing a silk head wrap to the grocery store. It just feels way too costumey for everyday life.
See, that is the trap of looking at it purely as an aesthetic choice.
Mm-hmm.
I initially had the exact same thought, but the practical details in the Apparelizer strategy completely reframe the narrative. They're explicitly pushing the head wrap's utility as a physical shield against humidity and heat.
Wait, really? So it's not just about looking like a vintage movie star?
Far from it. It is a highly practical fusion of function and form. Think about it. Human hair is incredibly susceptible to environmental moisture, which disrupts the hair shaft and causes frizz,
Tell me about it.
and UV heat, which causes structural damage. The tightly woven structure of high-quality silk lacks the abrasive friction of cotton, so it literally acts as a physical barrier against atmospheric humidity while keeping the hair cuticle smooth.
Wow.
So it looks like a vacation aesthetic, but mechanically, it's a protective helmet that just happens to be currently dominating runway fashion and social media feeds.
Okay, that completely changes how I view it. It's armor. Like
Yeah.
beautiful, vintage-inspired armor.
Exactly. And this idea of practical elegance, it carries right over into the next phase of their styling strategy, where the focus shifts entirely from static structural fashion to dynamic kinetic styling, specifically creating movement and visual illusion.
Okay, let's look at the movement aspect with the ponytail tie. Because the physical manipulation here is incredibly simple. You just tie your hair into a standard ponytail, wrap the scarf around the elastic hair tie, and let the silk ends flow naturally down the back.
The operative concept there is letting it flow naturally. We're moving away from the tightly knotted architecture we saw at the neck and using the natural drape of the fabric to add kinetic energy to the silhouette.
Right. And Apparelizer notes that this adds movement and femininity, recommending it for date nights, weddings, brunch outings. But there's this very modern, kind of cynical 2026 detail tucked into the rationale.
The social media angle.
Yeah. The document explicitly points out that this specific style photographs beautifully for Instagram and Pinterest fashion content.
Because digital algorithms heavily favor dynamic media. A static, rigid ponytail in a photograph is visually flat. But a ponytail with trailing silk catching the wind, that creates a dynamic, aspirational image that literally stops a user from scrolling.
Wow.
The style is quite literally engineered for the visual medium of social media.
Which brings us to the visual illusion aspect of the strategy. And here's where it gets really interesting, going back to our earlier analogy. If the scarf is a cheat code for your outfit, wrapping it around a handbag is a software update for your accessories.
A software update perfectly captures the mechanism here.
Yeah, you take the scarf, you tightly wrap it around the leather handles of a handbag, and you secure it with a bow or a knot. The marketing guide specifically dictates choosing contrasting colors for maximum visual impact. So you take this boring, plain black handbag that you've carried for 3 years.
And you're probably tired of.
Exactly. You wrap a bright geometric silk print around the handle, and suddenly you've patched the old version and upgraded to version 2.0.
What's fascinating here is the underlying economics driving this specific technique. The internal strategy documents highlight that this handle wrapping technique refreshes older handbags instantly.
Yeah.
It creates a luxury aesthetic without the consumer having to purchase new accessories. That is a massive value proposition for a brand trying to sell a relatively small piece of silk.
It's an incredible economic hack. Minimalist brands like Apparelizer are championing this to help consumers maximize wardrobe versatility. They're basically telling you that you don't need a closet full of expensive $500 designer bags to keep up with trends.
No, not at all.
You only need one structurally sound basic bag and a rotation of silk scarves to endlessly manipulate its identity.
Right, because the visual trickery works, because the handle is the interaction point of the bag. By covering worn or basic leather handles with premium silk, you elevate the perceived value of the entire object. And this logic applies to the final physical application they outlined too, wrapping it around the wrist.
Oh, the wrist wrap. Yeah, it acts as an alternative to traditional jewelry. You fold the scarf into a narrow strip, wrap it around your wrist, and tie a delicate knot. The document notes this is particularly popular in modern European street style.
It replaces the cold, rigid metal of a watch or a bangle with something tactile and fluid. It adds a necessary softness and texture, especially when contrasting against bare skin in, like, summer dresses.
Now, having walked through all these physical applications, from the visual anchor of the Parisian necktie to the humidity shield of the head wrap, the kinetic energy of the ponytail, the economic hack of the handbag, and the tactile wrist wrap, we kind of have to pivot now.
We do. Because if we connect this to the bigger picture, the actual document itself reveals something much larger than just clever fashion advice. We're transitioning from the physical reality of the silk scarf to its digital reality.
This is where we look at the metadata, the hidden text buried at the bottom of the Apparelizer document that was never meant for the consumer, but strictly for the search engine crawlers.
The text includes an entire arsenal of SEO tags, phrases like silk scarf styling, luxury fashion accessories, European fashion style, handbag scarf styling.
And they even outline a highly optimized, click-through rate engineered YouTube title: 5 stylish ways to tie a silk scarf in 2026 luxury fashion hacks every woman needs. It's so specific.
It really is.
They even list out the exact hashtags they are seeding across social media platforms to artificially generate a trend. Hashtag luxury fashion, hashtag street style, hashtag Apparelizer, and a very specific mysterious campaign tag. Hashtag masterstevemind.
This metadata is the digital engine behind the physical product. It proves that the silk scarf's massive cultural comeback in 2026 isn't some accidental organic whim of the public.
Right, right. It's not happening because millions of people suddenly woke up on a Tuesday and developed a deep appreciation for woven silk.
It is being actively, systematically injected into the culture. Influencers on TikTok, YouTube, and Pinterest are being handed these exact SEO strategies to ensure their content dominates the search results.
And the internal strategy explicitly credits the resurgence to social media fashion culture.
Brands are taking timeless concepts like vintage-inspired prints or European street-style aesthetics, and they are systematically packaging them into algorithmic micro-trends.
Yeah, the document targets phrases like coastal chic and monochrome styling.
Exactly. And these aren't just descriptions. They are algorithmic buzzwords, carefully designed to capture the search habits of younger audiences.
It's just incredible to realize the psychological loop happening here. When you scroll through your feed and see a dozen different influencers wearing a chic head wrap, you're not seeing a natural trend emerge. You're seeing the successful execution of an SEO strategy.
Yeah, exactly. The phrase coastal chic isn't just a vibe you happen to like. It's a searchable tag engineered by a marketer to make you buy into a specific aesthetic lifestyle.
But the brilliance of the strategy, as pointed out in the source, is that while the micro trends constantly evolve, from monochrome one month to coastal chic the next, the scarf itself remains a constant physical product. It just endlessly adapts to whatever the current algorithmic aesthetic demands.
Which makes it an incredibly smart investment for your own wardrobe, assuming you understand the mechanics of choosing the right one. I mean, if this deep dive has convinced you to try manipulating your own wardrobe with this 2026 fashion hack, how do you actually avoid buying the wrong piece of fabric?
That's a great question.
Thankfully, the internal documents include their parameters for what makes a functional scarf.
They do. The mechanics of curation are broken down into 4 specific parameters. Because, as the strategy notes, not all silk scarves are capable